Our neighbors have told us that if the Arlington Way were rewritten today, it would be, one, huge development project shepherded through by the county board, skirting zoning laws, changing density requirements, and improving traffic plans that favor the developer at the expense of the county and residents. Two, holding sham public hearings at which the decisions being discussed have already been made.
Right.
And third, public engagement limited to fruitless protests and bureaucratic runarounds. That's the new Arlington Way, unfortunately.
That's right.
Question, do you agree that the public engagement process has not kept pace with the size and scope of the projects it is supposed to oversee? And is there a path back to an accountable process? And Alan, I believe it is your time to go first, if I have it right.
Yeah. So I mean, clearly, and this is, I heard this again as I was knocking on doors in the community, and not just in this neighborhood, but in others as well, is that there does need to be more community engagement. There needs to be other ways to provide information to residents. I'll tell you the story as I've served as president of my own civic association, Highland Park, and made a really effort over the time that I was president to reach out to the neighbors. We more than doubled our email listserv during that time and made a conscious effort to push information out on a sort of a real-time basis to people so they would have a better sense of what was going on, what issues were bubbling around in the community, as well as sort of basic needs, who's available to help shovel snow, that kind of thing. So using some of those tools for additional engagement, I think, is important, and that's the sort of approach that I would bring to the board as well. And as we've had in this conversation just here this evening, I think that it highlights some of the shortcomings and the need for additional ways of engagement. I'll say that I'm not an incumbent on the board. I'm bringing a new perspective. I'm bringing a fresh voice, and I will bring my own ideas from my service as a civic association president, my service in business and government, to the challenge of how do we make sure that these processes that affect all of us and affect the communities that we live in, affect the decisions that will shape our communities for decades to come, are inclusive processes.
One of the things that I'm most proud of in recent months in terms of my community involvement was, as chair of the exec board of the Arlington Civic Federation last fall, I helped initiate at the Civic Federation level a new survey process where we heard from community residents, civic associations across the county at our monthly Civic Federation meetings. Frankly, the Civic Federation in the last few years has kind of tapered off in terms of attendance and influence, and that was very distressing to me. So one of the things we did, we got together with a number of other officers of the Civic Federation and said, okay, in each of the next 3 months, we're going to hear from civic associations around the county. And we heard from Arlington Ridge, we heard from Aurora Highlands, we heard from a number of other civic associations, north, south, east, and west, about very prosaic, basic things like the tree canopy, like traffic calming, like rodent control, like picking up the trash, community facilities, spending priorities, and that type of thing. But we do need a more robust community engagement process. The county has a number of mechanisms in place to do that, but I think we need to step up our game and make sure that the promise of some of these community engagement mechanisms, like PLACE, like the website that you can go on and make comments and so forth, live up to their true potential. I'd also like to see our community boards, our commissions, get out into the neighborhoods more. Some of them do that, but most of them meet on a weekday night down at the county building. Why not come out to the Aurora Hills Community Center or libraries or places like that from time to time? Thank you.